Right, here we are for round 3. We're pretty lucky with our die rolls today. Yikes. Three, four, four. So let's see. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing a turn 1. So 1, 2, 3. We end up with 3 mana, 3 mana, 1 mana, 1 mana up to 4 mana. 4 mana, 4 spells. This will correct for red. No, because then we can't cast this. Well, we can if we Infernal Tutor for a Cabal Ritual or an LED, because we'll be left with 1 mana left over, 4, and then an LED brings us up to 7. Cabal Ritual also brings us up to 7. And then Infernal Tutor has to find tendrils, so it brings us down to 5. 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 spells. That's also not enough. This hand's so close. I think I'm going to keep. I'm just going to pass on 1. I'm going to turn my volume down here. Probably like miracles. Just hoping to draw land. Gonna force? That's fine. Stoneforge? Sure. Any land's pretty great here. We're basically like a land away from winning this game. Your hand is insanely powerful. Sure. No. It's actually kind of forcing them into like weird situations too. It's kind of nice. We'll buy you. Playing Brainstorm purposefully without playing my land here. I think I have another turn where I can kind of dawdle. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So they didn't draw a spell, or they didn't want to show us a spell anyway. They are going to fetch, which means that they didn't draw a spell. It's Jace. Grimmauld Angler. Okay. Deck's interesting. Maybe had a bunch of life, 25 to be exact. So we're going to need to do a lot of storm, but I think we can get there. So I'll take Swords to Plowshare so they can't gain any more life. Alright, so to get to 13 Storm, so 9 more. So if I Infernal Tutor, I can get Cabal Ritual, crack this for red, or I can get LED. I think LED is better because then I can cast like Ponder, Preordain, and stuff like that. To make more storm. So let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for the thing I find in Tutor, and then 12, 13. Let's just double check. 4, 5. This finds Cabal Therapy, Cabal Ritual. Sorry. 5, 6 with the Cabal Ritual, 7 for the Past in Flames, 8 for the Infernal Tutor, 9 for the Tendrils that we get, 10, 11, 12, and I can cast Thoughtseize? Okay. Cabal Ritual works. Cast Infernal Tutor. Find Tendrils of Agony. Cast Ponder. No. Nazis. Tendrils. It's going to be for 14 storm, that's 28. Yep, against that one. Okay. Alright. So, like I said, that hand was super powerful, just kind of needed some lands. We got a little lucky to get some of the lands, but I think that's just kind of how it's going to play out, or how it has to play out for us to win that. So I gotta expect that they're gonna bring in like things like Rest in Peace, maybe. Although Grim Egg means maybe not. Um, they have black mana, so they probably have like maybe something like Lingering Souls, discard spells, that type of thing. Um, I think here I'm gonna board out Dark Petition. Dark Petition gets super bad if they have Rest in Peace, so does Past in Flames, but I don't think we want to board out all the Past in Flames. Ad Nauseam might not be great because they have Delver of Secrets. Delver of Secrets kind of like is a clock, but they don't have burn spells, so I think I'm going to keep it in. Cards that I'm looking at are like Xanad Swarm, Empty the Warrens are like usually pretty good in this matchup. Possibly Flusterstorm. Um, I don't think I want Abrupt Decay in this matchup. I don't think they're counterbalancing. This is like basically all I want for that. Could board in Massacre. Although if I'm boarding in, I guess I'm boarding out two big things for the I was gonna say my ad nauseams are gonna get kind of bad, but if I'm boarding out a 5 and a 4, boarding in a 4 and a 4, that's probably okay. And I kind of like having like a removal spell, just kind of like a catch-all. So I'm gonna make that Chain of Vapor. Maybe it should be Echoing Truth. It's gonna be Chain of Vapor. I'm gonna make a Chain of Vapor. Could board in Fatal Push. If they have like something like Metally Mage, stuff like that. That's kind of like one of the reasons that I'm boarding in Massacre. So I think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna board out a Duress. Board out a Preordain. Maybe I don't really need Xanad Swarm. Board out this. Alright. Xanad Swarm's not super great here, but they don't have a ton of removal, but they might have blockers, so maybe I'm not supposed to board it in. Sand neither has mana nor business, but it does have 2 Ponders. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. Sand's slightly better. I'll keep enough sculpting. This one has a payoff, but it does need some amount of help. So Dark Ritual will be great here. Chain of Vapor not so great here. What if I should just start off with Thoughtseize? Probably not. Can't imagine that their deck plays Stifle, but maybe it does. I'm going to go for Volcanic Island, which kind of gives away that we have this, but I want access to red mana if we go like Dark Ritual or something. If we find like a Dark Ritual. Let's start off with Brainstorm. This could get dazed. If I put Empty the Warrens 2 down... No, that doesn't work. Okay. Chain of Vapor... Thoughtseize. Pass. I don't know. They could play Wasteland, but their deck doesn't seem like it lends itself to being a good Wasteland deck. This is once again a little bit of the inexperience of my recent playing, but the old EOT Brainstorm. Okay. This makes me believe that they are going to want all of their mana next turn, but wanted to cast the Brainstorm at some point. Also probably means that they have at least want most of their cards. So then maybe like all but one. I know a lot of people are just kind of like, you're not supposed to cast Brainstorm at end step, but I think it's correct some of the time. Okay, Thoughtseize. So it's kind of my worry was that, okay, they do have Wastelands. Noted. But yeah, so maybe I was supposed to fetch for basic island there. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize them. Could have something like Daze. But, and I'm going to go ahead and play this LED as well. I'm going to Force? What? Force Pitching Daze? So I want to cast something for 2? I'm going to cast this LED. And pass. Basically, I don't want them to Thoughtseize my LED. They could also have, like, Hymn to Tarak. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Lavinia. Can't cast non-creature spells with command costs greater than the number of lands they control. Cast a spell if no mana was spent to cast it. Counter that spell. Hey, good thing I played that LED. Okay. That card's pretty good. So when we go to the next game, I guess I probably want Abrupt Decay and such. Their deck seems pretty good against ours. Definitely want this Empty the Warrens, though. I don't think they are very prepared for Empty the Warrens. So if we can get an early Empty, we could win the game. Lavinia also makes me not want to play Massacre, to be honest. I shouldn't have boarded in the Xanatorm. I forgot they have Thoughtseizes and such. Oh, it's just opponent stuff. That's pretty dope. Yeah, we're super dead soon. Alright, we'll concede this one. Okay, don't want Xanad. Don't want Massacre, because it seems like their answer is, what's it called? Do want Abrupt Decay. Is Lavinia. Yeah, this all seems fine. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. Lose to a Force of Will. Dark Ritual for 3 mana. This, crack this for red. Get 10 goblins on one. I'm not going to mulligan it. If they have Force of Will, we lose the game, but it's like fine. $19? Not 19. Your turn. They could have an answer, but I'll take my chances. I guess I might cast Petal. They could have like Lavinia, and maybe I draw like Fatal Push or something. I guess I won't be able to cast Fatal Push, but Swords? Brainstorm. Okay. I was like, Swords to Plowshares, I guess? I don't know. Now even if they have a blocker, they die. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, like the Delver strategies, a lot of the times are pretty cold to empty the Warrens pretty quickly. Um, and like I said before, if they're playing a Force of Will deck, they can't have it on turn one every single time, and so I think you're just incentivized if you can do this on the play to just go for it. You're gonna lose some games, that's definitely true, but it's less than 50%. And if you ever played any risk game before, like something like poker or something like that, if you get better than 50%, you should just go for it. I mean, obviously, there's definitely things to consider, like maybe your hand's so good that you can go on turn two, but now you get also Thoughtseize. Sure, then do that. But I mean, like this hand couldn't do anything except for basically what it did, and it paid off. So they didn't have the Force of Will for our Infernal Tutor, and now we are 2-1. So yeah, I think the where the mess up was is game two. I definitely should have mulligan or not mulligan, but boarded differently. Um, that's just once again getting the wheels back on, getting the rust off, which is actually probably pretty helpful for you guys if you are picking up this deck or just kind of remembering how to play. Is that things like Xanatworm against decks with discard are worse because yeah, they could have counter magic and discard, but the big thing is that when you're down on cards, Xanatworm is also being down on cards. Similarly with the discard, you kind of have to have it, but you don't want too much of it. So maybe I should have trimmed maybe like another duress or something like that. Try to make my deck just a little bit more powerful. Maybe the preordained should have stayed in because it's more selection after they play like their Thoughtseizes, possibly Cabal Therapies or whatever, possibly also their duresses. And then like the Lavinia thing, I didn't think about that, but I definitely should have. I was thinking more of like Canonist, Meddling Mage, but if they're playing Lavinia, Massacre seems pretty poor. And maybe I like took this list off of somebody else's results, so maybe that's just something that we'll have to address going forward. Because like if people are starting to play Lavinia, Massacre gets a lot worse because you can't cast it to kill it, and then it's also pretty good against this deck. So maybe things more like Fatal Push, maybe things like Dread of Night, that type of things. But anyway, we're 2-1, and I guess we'll keep on pushing on, and I'll see you next round.